Have you ever felt like you made one mistake, and suddenly, the whole world was watching? Like everyone suddenly had something to say about you? Everyone suddenly thought they knew who you really were. And no matter how much you wanted to explain yourself, it felt like nobody really wanted to listen. You know, we've all had those moments. Maybe it wasn't in front of a million people. Maybe it didn't end up in the news or on social media. Maybe it was just in front of one person, or one small room full of people you cared about. But it still hurt. You said something you wish you hadn't. You did something you thought you'd never do. You broke a promise, even to yourself. And for a second, you wondered if you'd ever feel like you again. That's what Will Smith felt. That night at the Oscars, everything he'd built over decades, everything he thought he stood for, everything the world thought he was, it all cracked. You probably remember where you were when you saw it, too. Everyone does. The man we grew up with. The man who made us laugh every single week on Fresh Prince. Who made us cry with him in Pursuit of Happiness. Who taught us to root for the underdog in Ollie. Who always seemed so full of grace, so full of love, so in control of himself. He stood on that stage, and did something nobody saw coming. And just like that, his name wasn't just Will Smith anymore. His name became a headline. His face became a meme. His reputation. To some people, it seemed like it shattered right there. And the truth is, maybe you felt that way too. Not in front of millions. But in front of someone who mattered. Maybe you hurt someone you cared about. Maybe you said something out of anger. Maybe you lost your temper. And after, you felt like you let yourself down most of all. You felt like you weren't who you thought you were anymore. That's exactly what Will felt. So what do you do, when you feel like that? For Will, the answer wasn't what people expected. It wasn't movies. He could have jumped into another role, tried to distract everyone, tried to pretend nothing had happened. It wasn't TV interviews. He could have gone on talk shows, told his side of the story, tried to clean up his image. And it wasn't hiding away completely. He didn't just disappear and hope we all forgot. Instead, he quietly went back to the one thing that always felt like home to him. The one thing that gave him a voice when he was just a kid. The one thing that let him say the things he was too scared to say out loud. Music. Because a lot of people forget, before Men in Black, before Bad Boys, before Independence Day, Will Smith was just a kid from Philly. A kid with a mic and a dream. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. That's who he really was. That's where he learned how to tell his story. That's where he learned how to take the pieces of himself, and put them back together. And after the Oscars? That's exactly what he needed. Because he said it himself, that night, he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Shame. Not just because of what people thought of him. Not just because of the backlash. But because of what he thought of himself. He'd always believed in being better than that. He'd always told himself he could rise above anger. That he was the kind of man who chose love over violence. And that night, he wasn't. And it broke something inside of him. So he stepped away from the cameras. He didn't vanish. But he stopped talking. He got quiet. And late at night, when nobody was watching, he started writing again. He started recording again. It wasn't about making a hit. It wasn't about getting back on the charts. It wasn't about proving himself to anyone. It was about finding himself. One lyric at a time. One verse at a time. One beat at a time. And he's even said, this new music, it's not the playful, feel-good songs you remember from the 90s. It's raw. Honest. Sometimes dark. But always real. Because that's where he was. People close to him have said, this isn't about fixing his image. This is about fixing his soul. And honestly, that's what makes it so powerful. You know, there's this story he shared once about what his therapist told him. She said, you can't keep bottling your emotions. One day, they'll explode. And that's what happened that night. Years and years of pressure. Of trying to be perfect. Of trying to smile and laugh and never let anyone see the cracks. It all came out in one bad moment. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to end there. And that's the part most people miss. It's never just about the mistake you made. It's about what you do next. And Will. He's showing us all that no matter how badly you mess up, no matter how low you feel, you can always find your way back. Maybe not overnight. Maybe not in the way you thought you would. But you can. Because this time, he's not doing it for the Grammys. He's not chasing radio play, not trying to climb the charts, not even thinking about what critics will say or whether it will win him another trophy for his shelf. He's been there before. He's lived that version of success. The lights, the applause, the magazine covers, he's seen how shallow all of that can feel when you're not okay on the inside. No, this time it's different. This time, he's doing it because it heals him. Because when he sits down in the studio late at night and puts on those headphones, the world goes quiet. It doesn't matter what people on the internet are saying. It doesn't matter what headlines are calling him. It doesn't matter how many think pieces are out there dissecting his every move. None of that matters in those moments. All that matters is the beat and the words that come pouring out. Because that's when he feels it, that connection to the person he was before all this. Before the fame, before the pressure, before the expectations. Back when he was just Will. Just a kid from Philly who loved to rhyme and tell stories. That's what music does for him. It reminds him who he really is. And maybe that's something all of us need sometimes. Because it's so easy to lose ourselves, isn't it? You spend so much time trying to be who everyone else wants you to be. You try to be perfect, to keep everyone happy, to live up to the image people have of you. And little by little, you forget the things that used to make you feel alive. That's what happened to him. And maybe it's what's happened to you, too. Maybe there's something you used to love. Something that lit you up inside. Something that made you feel like you, before life got messy, before the mistakes, before the shame. Maybe you stopped doing it because you thought you weren't good enough anymore. Or because someone told you it didn't matter. Or because you were too busy proving yourself in other ways. But here's the thing. That thing you love, that thing that heals you, it's still there. Waiting for you. Just like music was waiting for Will. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if anyone else sees it. It doesn't matter if it makes money. Or wins awards. Or gets a million likes. What matters is what it does for your soul. So, let me ask you something. What's your version of that? What's the thing that heals you? What's the thing that reminds you who you really are? Whatever it is, maybe it's time to go find it again. What's your music? What's the thing you used to love, but you let it go? The thing that made you feel like yourself? Was it writing? Painting? Running? Cooking? Dancing? Whatever it is, pick it back up. Even if nobody's watching. Even if everybody's watching. Because it's not about them. It's about you. Will Smith made the world fall in love with him by being unapologetically himself. And then, for a while, he forgot who that was. Now, he's finding his way back. And so can you. So what's stopping you? If this story hit home for you, tell me in the comments. What's the one thing you've been afraid to pick back up? The one thing you've been waiting to try again? And if you felt even a little inspired today, hit that like button. It helps more people see this story, and maybe find a little hope of their own. Stick around, we've got another powerful story coming up, another comeback you probably didn't even see coming. And if you want to keep rising with us, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you here. Because no matter how hard you fall, you can always get back up. And when you do, you just might surprise yourself. Keep rising. Always.